Fitbits were once relegated to the sweaty wrists of the athletically obsessed. Well, these devices are now helping pharmaceutical companies get their drugs to market more quickly. How exactly? Wearables are now being strapped to people participating in drug trials in hopes that the biometric data will more effectively determine if a treatment is working. So for more on this story, let's bring in Edney from Bloomberg News, who wrote this story. She joins us now from Washington. Anna, a question here is how accurate of a reading Fitbits can provide. I know a lot of people who have used Fitbits say that when they work out, for instance, it doesn't count that as a step. It's only when they actually are walking that's counted as a step.
The Fitbits are not the only gadgets being used, so there are some that are being done just for medical research, kind of more in the medical data realm, that instead of being on your wrist, they can stick to your chest, or really some of them anywhere on your body. And those are being made just for kind of clinical trials like this, where they know exactly they're going to be looking for how many steps are you taking, how is your sleep, what's your heart rate.
Right. We're looking at a picture of the biostamp from MC10. So there's a distinction to be made here between these consumer tracking devices and ones that are produced for this specific purpose. What kind of information exactly is being gathered? And tell us how it helps companies bring their product to market more quickly.
When you're looking at something like how many steps you're taking during a day, the pharmaceutical companies want to know that, because movement is a big part of whether, if you have something like Lou Gehrig's disease that doesn't have a lot of treatments right now, movement's a big part of, is a drug working on that particular disease. It's sort of a quality of life issue. So the pharmaceutical company can find out, how is the disease progressing, and also, how is someone reacting to a drug based on the movement they're doing that hopefully improves with time.
How widespread is this practice right now? Do we have any numbers on how many trials are in process?
There's a clinical trial database that the National Institutes of Health runs, and I did a search there, and it looked like there were at least almost 300 trials that are using wearables. And what I looked for were trials that were using what are called an accelerometer. So it's a, basically beefed up pedometer like what the Fitbits use.
Okay, well, going down the road a little bit here, if this does work and become effective, how does this impact the insurance industry?
Well, down the road, the hope for pharmaceutical companies is that they can prove the value of their drugs, so they can show that quality of life is improving, and hopefully they can get the insurance companies to agree to pay the prices that they charge for those drugs. It's been kind of a constant battle recently on the pricing of drugs, and insurers and other payers complaining that they're really way too high. And so if the pharmaceutical companies could try and show some benefit that maybe they're not showing now, they might have an easier time getting those payments.
And of course, the MC10 biostamp that we showed was one of the more unobtrusive products. Most of them are still fairly clunky.
Yeah, they're not as clunky as they used to be, and but they're gradually getting better, and they're I think for the drug makers, it's a benefit to be as small and unobtrusive as possible. That way, maybe people wearing them won't exactly remember that they're on, or those kind of issues.
Right, they'll continue to do the activities that they normally would and wouldn't tailor their movement for the sake of the device.